Good afternoon. This is Tisha McDonald here, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
And this is Tanika Gillard. I had to go and get my phone so I could turn the volume down so if it rings, it won't ring on you guys. Anyway, this is Tanika Gillard. I am naturally yours.
Today's your Friday.
So it's been a crazy day too. A lot of admissions, a lot of discharges, just crazy. And then other paperwork. It's just been a crazy day. So yeah. How was your day?
Busy and productive.
Okay.
I'm exhausted. I had a busy day yesterday, very little sleep the day before. But Sunday we talked about this. And so I must say, hooray for me. My Delaware license has arrived. I haven't posted it yet. I haven't shown it yet, but my Delaware license has arrived. There's one spot. Yes, me and Ray just was doing some driving. I said, maybe I might want to work here for a few minutes, until I can set up, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
But the big deal is that my license finally was approved on Monday after we had our conversation on Sunday about it.
Absolutely. Yay.
Hello. I see there's people on already. So Sunday we talked a lot about various. We talked about hair, we talked about makeup, we talked about skincare, just a little bit. We talked about nails. Oh, that's another thing. I was going through some stuff today, some papers cleaning out. Tanika, I have had my nail tech license since 1998. I was like, what?
Wow.
And my aesthetic license since 2001.
Wow.
Then I came across, when I was in aesthetic school, I went to Christine Valmy on Fifth Avenue. I was substitute teaching there, and I came across pay stubs. I'm just like, wow, I'm just digging up the archives. I came across my nail examiner. I started that in 2001. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so old, So anyway, I was just doing some things today, and I keep all my stuff, guys, in kind of like one area, so I know where my professional stuff is, so I have that separated from my funeral service stuff as well. So now, Tanika, and I'm going to post it probably tomorrow. I took pictures of my licenses that now I'm licensed in 3 states. I'm licensed in New York, Pennsylvania, and now Delaware. So I'm excited. And I think there's a way for me to actually get a license, universal license, now that I'm licensed in 3 states.
Okay.
Let's get into our show tonight. Answering one of the questions that we didn't discuss Sunday was the nail dip powder. The dip powder. So we're going back into sanitation. The dip powder. And I've asked people when they told me that they have the dip powder, how are they dipping? Are they putting your finger in the dip powder? Or are they, because we learned sanitation-wise, you take the file and you scoop it over the nail. You don't dip your finger in the powder unless, how are you, Michelle? Thank you. So with the dip powder, you want to see it one of 2 ways. You want to either have the file, them scoop it into the file and pour it over your nail, or if they have a big jar of the dip powder, you want them to pour it in a smaller container, and then you dip your finger in that smaller container. That's the way the dip powder should work. They should take it from their larger container into a smaller container. Your finger dips into the smaller container. And the caveat to that one is you got to make sure that they pour that powder into the garbage once they're done. Because if you get up and walk away and they didn't pour that into the garbage, then they're pouring it right back into the larger container. Now it's contaminated. So that was one of the questions that was not answered on Sunday that I wanted to address today. The dip powder. Make sure that it's going from a larger container into a smaller container, and then you dip in your finger. Or if they're using a larger container, you're not putting your finger in that container. You don't know how many hands have been in that container before your fingers. Make sure they're using a file to scoop it and pour it over your nail, if that makes sense to you guys. Just wanted to break that down. All right. Anything, Nikki?
I was going to say thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Okay. So to the subject at hand, they will watch you fail or watch you succeed. And everybody has their personalities, and people are watching to see how you react to your failure or to your success. So let's talk about failures first, because everything isn't going to happen sometimes as smoothly as you would like them to go. And sometimes it may not happen at all. So, example, just now, it took me from February till now to get my Delaware license. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? It was denied. Then I'm sending them all of what they're asking me, but it still wasn't enough. But I didn't take it as, oh, this is never going to happen. I took it as, okay, what else do you need me to send? What else do you need me to do? And then I'm like, well, but I did feel like if it's taking me this long to get the license, how long is it going to take for me to open up a business? Because if I can't get a license since February, what is taking so long? How are they going to work it for the business? But go ahead, Nikki. But I didn't take it as anything. So it wasn't a failure or anything in that part. It just happened in its time. And sometimes I feel like I'm not going to say fail, because to me, failure is nothing but a lesson, and you know what not to do the next time, or what to do the next time.
I agree. I don't think failure is a failure. I think that also with age and maturity, you get a different perspective on failure. I think that sometimes our young people feel like they're going to come out, they're going to hit the ground running, and boom, it's just going to happen for them. But they don't know about pitfalls and patience. You have to have the pitfalls and the patience. So I know one of the guys who just opened up his own barbershop. I don't know what we was talking about, but I was like, well, you should start doing stuff now, because you never know. And lo and behold, he had to postpone his moving date because the board, the barbering commission here he had to take some extra classes that they didn't make required before. So I'm like, so it was just a hold, like another 30-day hold before he could go into his own shop, because he had to take that class. And then his friend wants to open up something. I'm like, well, you need to be looking now, because you could have pitfalls as well. And then when he got into his shop, then it was the equipment that he got wasn't right. He had to send it back. And so it wasn't, if he got upset about it, he's young, but he didn't get upset about it, because he had mentors, which is something that we talk about all the time. People in his corner, people who have been through it before, salon owners such as myself, and barbers who've been through it before, that he could ask about and everything. And so he was really patient, and everything worked out in the end. But just that initial getting off the ground, and sometimes with the younger people, they're not as patient as they should be when it comes to business.
True indeed. It was something that you said there, and I was trying to hold on to it, but then you just was talking, and I was just like, yeah, that's a good point too. So, but failure, I don't know. I don't see failure as failure, because, like I said, you can learn from it, and you know what to do. Like my first salon, I lasted maybe a year, but I did not know what I was doing. I was only, I think, 23 at the time, and I was taking over from someone else who wanted to, but I had no clue as to how to run a business. And so I didn't take it as a failure, because now look at me, fast forward years later, it set me up for what I'm doing today. I'm happy of where I am today, and I've done so much, but I didn't take it as, oh, this failed. I just said, okay, I'm going to try this again. And even my goals, because I write them down every year, even my goals, and Walter knows as well, I haven't hit the ones that I wanted. I wanted to have nail salons when I only was a nail tech. I wanted to have nail salons around college campuses. Then it was, I want to have hair salons around college campuses. Well, mine is around a college campus, and the second one is going to be around a college campus. But the whole goal for me was not to be behind the chair this long. I wanted to be just managing. I did not want to be behind the chair, but it seems like I can't get from behind the chair.
I know, they keep calling us back in. Oh, nobody could do it like you.
But that comes with experience. And let's say in the beginning, when you're just coming out, you may not do a client's hair the way they want it done, or like it just doesn't look the same, or doesn't look right, because you have to get your skills under. And then as you gain the skills, then you start becoming prepared. You're starting to get experience. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but like again, I said age. A lot of your older celebrities will say the same thing. It's not a failure. It's just take it a different direction. Maybe this just isn't the time. So it just really depends on the person, their age, their mentality. You know, you go in gung ho thinking it's going to hit off and it doesn't turn out the way you do. Okay, let's re-strategize, you know, or maybe that wasn't it. Maybe this was it. Maybe something better comes from what you initially started. So, you know, you start the hair business, but now your product line is taking off more than your hair business. Now you could get from behind the chair or, you know, something like that. So something came from your experience, from what you were doing, something greater came from that.
I remember what I was going to say. It was something like, if you're not giving your all to the particular area of your business, then that can cause a failure. So if you're saying, like, that's when you're coming down to the niche or whatever. What do you want to specialize in? Because you can't be everything to everybody at all times. So if you're saying, I want to do nails, then specialize in that. If you want to do hair, then specialize in that. But then there's so many facets of hair. Which part of hair do you want to specialize in? Is it going to be natural? Is it going to be weaves? Is it going to be braids? Is it going to, so really find and hone in on what you want to be. If I say, even in a funeral service, for example, people ask me, would you want to be in the front end or the back end? I'm more of a people person. I would want to be in the front end, but I know being in the back end is part of my job, but that might not be my specialty, however, when it comes to us, our color and everything, I would be the special person for that. I would know what to use for us back there.
You are watching Twinness with Tisha and Tanika. We are just talking about, your goals and how do you react if you fail in business or if you succeed? What is your reaction? And real quick, I just want to say that it's not just about failing and succeeding. Once you put your stuff out there, like we got social media, sometimes people put too much out there. And so people are watching to see if you're going to fail or succeed. And it doesn't have to necessarily be business. It could be relationships. You happy, all in love, all these pictures and stuff. And then a year later, there's no pictures, there's nothing there. And then it's like, if somebody asks you about it, it's like, well, I don't want to talk about it, but you put it out there. And now it's like, okay, well, what happened to Schmojo? What happened to the relationship? What happened to the business y'all built together? What happened? So I think that certain things you might not want to put out for everyone. Even if you start in your business, you might not want to put it out there to everyone because everybody's not going to be in your corner. Everybody's not going to be rooting for you to succeed. So you already put out there that you're starting this business and you're so excited about it. And that's a great thing. But wait till you get some notches under your belt before you go out there. Because sometimes the silence of it all makes it even sweeter when you succeed.
Yes, that is so true. You don't want to put everything out there on Front Street for everybody to know, because then if it doesn't work out, then it's a whole bunch of questions. And now you're like, I don't want to talk about it. Or you could take it the other way and say, well, this is what happened and this is why I didn't succeed, but I'm going to revamp my, because before this pandemic, I was already set with the Small Business Administration to do transitional housing. Tanika, everything was there. I was going weekly to the and I've said this before, the Small Business Development Center. We were meeting every week at ESU, helping me with my business plan. I had all my staff in place. What happens? The pandemic happened. And then what happened on top of that? We moved out of state. We're in Delaware now. So, was that a failure? No, because I got a lot of valuable information from going to the Small Business Development Center. And it's good to know that's nationwide. You could go any state and there's a Small Business Development Center. Even when I was talking to my accountant about opening up out here, he was like, Tisha, go to your local chamber, and find out where they're doing the rezoning and stuff like that,
And it's not even necessarily a failure. It's just not the time.
Right now.
And, you could always come back to it. I mean, you're still young. You could even do it as you get older and retire.
This is
I'm
true.
just saying.
This is true because foster care and taking care of those kids that's transitioning from foster care into independent living, that's always going to be a part of what I want to do. It's always going to be part of my give back. And, you know, like I said before, Walter and I, we were foster parents for 8 years, and Walter said that's it. But for us taking them in home, he don't care if I work outside the home, you know, working with the foster. But, you know, I know he feels like he's done his time. So I give him that. Now let's talk about when you become successful. This is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
And Tanika Gillard, I am naturally yours, and success is relative. But yes, a lot of times I've heard people say it doesn't really change you. Whether if you were stingy with your money before, you're still going to be stingy now, even with the money. If you were generous before, you're going to be generous still. If you know, it just amplifies who you are. If you were highfalutin and snotty nosed before when you didn't have nothing, because you know there are people that are like that, even though they're broke, they think they're all that.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, no, I'm talking about the snootiness. You know, I don't mind the faking it, but you don't have to be snooty. And so when they get the money, that makes it even more arrogant. I guess that's the way I want to say, arrogant. So, you know, success just brings out who you are 10 times.
Okay. Yes, success is relative, because what's successful, one of my classmates, Jean, and I, we graduated funeral service together, but he's actually in the industry. His family is, but he opted out. He's not doing that. He said his heart is more for children. So he's back in school for child development or something, whatever. But we were just on the phone yesterday talking about success. And he was saying for him, he wouldn't feel successful. He's young. He's only 22 or 23 in the funeral business because it takes up so much of your time. He would not have time for his kids. And he didn't like being on call, let's say 8 o'clock at night, and he has to drop things to go to the funeral. He doesn't want that to be his life. And he's 22, 23, no prospects yet, but he's just thinking for the future. For him, success would be being at his children's game, because he's also a swim coach, being at his children's games and being at the swim meets and stuff like that. We had a long conversation yesterday. It was good actually hearing from him. He called me. All my babies. I love my babies. So yes, what it is relative, what you consider successful. I feel like right now I'm happy that I have the salon in Pennsylvania, but I only work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and some Sundays. I'm home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So my kids do get my time, and I can put my time in other places out here. So that does give me a sense of success. Today, for example, Ray and I went to the library. Tanika, guys, my daughter is reading War and Peace. I was like, okay, she just killed me right there. She just killed me. War and Peace. So she says she's starting that book next week, but she already had it. I love my daughter, and this is not what the show is about, but she signed up for some college courses today as well, too. And I'm like, how are you going to do the college courses, read your war? And she said, I have a schedule, Mom. I have a schedule.
You know, she's that way. She's that way. You know.
She is.
So I'm not going to say nerdy.
I was just saying that, you know, spending time with your family, having that quality time. What's the point in being successful monetarily if you don't have time to spend with your family?
And to me, it's not even about the money. Right. I think I'm successful at what I do. Working with special need population is exhausting at times, but it's rewarding as well. I think being a mom to a special needs is successful as well. It's rewarding. It's exhausting as well. But it really lets me see the community in a different way. And I just always wish that there was more that I can do, or try to figure out what else I can do for this community. So to me, that is successful. Granted, it doesn't pay, you know, but you can find rewards other ways, you know. And of course, I love working with my clients, and I love my clients because they are understanding to my goals. And so, to me, I am successful. I might not have a lot of money, but it's not about the money all the time, like you said, because that will come.
And when you do reach a level of success, quote unquote, what is your give back? Are you that's not, and I heard what you said about, if you were generous before, you'll be generous then, if you're selfish then, but not necessarily, because if I'm coming from the ground up, I might not be that generous when I get out. Like, I'm going to hold on to it because I didn't have it before. So now I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not going to give back.
But
So
we already know that a closed fist you can't receive.
yes,
So you
yes.
have to be able to give and to receive. And I think that's why you have to establish that early on.
Mm-hmm. So
Like,
when you become successful, so to speak, are you giving back? What are you doing to give back? And giving back doesn't necessarily mean you have to be out on Front Street. Here, look at what I'm giving away. You could be giving back anonymously. You don't have
mhm.
to be on Front Street. You could be doing things behind the scenes.
And
People
it
don't
doesn't
even
have to
know
be money. It could be your
your
time.
time,
It could
your
be
skill, teaching.
yeah, teaching. We donate all the time. I already got the onesies for the babies. And the girl that works my t-shirts, Adrienne, she's already donating her services by creating the t-shirts for me.
Nice.
Last year we did blankets, and we always do blankets, but we're not going to do that this year. I just don't have the time. But whatever, and I always try to give something back, like my gift or my talent. So that's what I try to give back a lot of time. We give back by teaching as well. We give back by books. We give back by knowledge. We give back by being here and answering questions. So that's how we give back as well.
True indeed. True indeed. So this is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
Tanika Gillard, I am naturally yours.
And we are going to be taking a break. And we will not be here the month of July. We're going to take a break. We're going to it's the summertime. So we're going to be very busy traveling and everything like that. Like the rest of you guys, hopefully you guys are out there. And if you're not, whether you are or you're not, just stay safe. That's the important thing. But I know for us, we have a busy summer ahead. And so we didn't want to keep canceling Twin Knits. So we said, you know what? We're just going to take the month off, and we're going to revisit you back in August.
All right.
And then
In
school
August.
starts back in August. So we know that you guys are going to be busy with school going back, with the students actually going back to school. So now that was another question mark, because, we know we need to get back to you guys, but we know that y'all are going to be busy because
And for
now
us,
2
yeah.
years have passed.
August for us, school starts, but it's still optional. We don't necessarily have to be in class. We can still do remote. So, and I guess every state is different. They have their own laws. So we'll be getting back with you guys in August, and we're excited to see you guys in August. We're going to revamp some things over this month. It's only 4 weeks, you guys. It's not that long, even though time seems to fly, right? So we're going to take a break, and we'll see y'all back in August. Yeah.
All right. So we just wanted to end with this note of people are watching. People are watching you succeed or fail. How are you going to respond to your failures or your letdowns or your disappointments? Are you going to take responsibility actually for some of your losses? Because sometimes we want to play the blame game. For example, and this is minor. So I'm teaching my daughter to crochet, and she keeps losing stitches. So it keeps going on to a slant. So she's like, "Mommy, can you fix this?" So I fix it. "Mommy, can you?" She asked me twice already. So she said, "And Mommy, this is your fault." No, it's not my fault that you're not keeping count. You have to take that responsibility. Are we taking responsibility for our, I don't want to say failures, but our mistakes? Are we taking responsibility for our mistakes? Because only we could be responsible for what we do wrong. Go ahead.
Because we're quick to take the credit for the success, but we are quick to blame when it comes to the missteps. If you
Yes.
did this, then I would have done that. And you're right. We have to look at ourselves and see what we did, what our part is, and that we say that all the time, even when it comes to hair. When you're taking down your braids, and see, we ain't gonna go off on a tangent, you guys, because we're gonna see y'all back in August. But when you're taking your hair down and you cut your hair, that was your fault. It wasn't somebody else's fault. If you left them up too long and now they mad, it wasn't the braider's fault. It was your fault. So always taking responsibility for your actions, whether you succeed or fail. Not fail, misstep.
But also when you become that quote unquote success is I did this, I did that. You know, pride is a sin. You know, pride is a sin. Pride comes before the fall. You might be like up there right now, but you'll come back down. You better be careful.
But even with the success, you don't succeed by yourself. It's
You don't,
always
never.
people. And like I always, because people are like, well, you own your own business. No, my clients still are my boss. Because if they say I don't like it, I got to take it out and do it again. My clients pay me. So if they don't come, I don't get paid. You know, so you know, you're only as good as the people that are around you, and the people that support you, and you have to acknowledge those that support you. And so we want to say thank you guys for supporting us during these past couple of years over the pandemic and everything. Y'all been hanging with us, so we want to say thank you.
All right, and that is our last show for June, and we will see you back in August. Wow, this was a great time. Well, let's say December till now. So it's been 6 months and we've been going 6 months strong. So we're going to take a break now. And then when we come back, it'll be 5 months strong with some times off because, Thanksgiving is in that time. Christmas is in that time, So, but we already have our shows already lined up. So we are ready. Like I said, we planned for the year. And this month wasn't actually a takeoff month, but we said we will take off this month because it's a busy month and everything is back in its grind. Tanika, real quick, I'm gonna put you on blast. I have one for you. Loose leaf or composition notebook?
Loose leaf.
Why?
Because you could put it in any notebook that you want, and you could rip off the perforated ends if you want.
Okay.
What about you?
I like a composition. I like loose leaf, but with the composition, because they're so bound together, and then on the front, it's, you could say, I don't know
what it is.
And so, I have a bunch of composition books.
I have a bunch.
Yeah.
But I also have a bunch of loose leaf.
That was, Tanika, I have a lot of paper. Of course, I have a lot of loose leaf, but I keep all of the kids' compositions because they needed them so many. I have so many, so I just use them to write all my notes for like Twin-ness, all my notes for my plans for the future, because I was doing some stuff yesterday. I was like, okay. And so I have my different composition books, but I also have a lot of loose leaf. And so the loose leaf pages I'm getting ready to write into composition so I could keep everything, like I said, organized.
Yeah.
I asked Ray too. I asked Ray. She said loose leaf. All right, guys, good night. It was great talking to you. We will see you back in August. You may catch some replays. I might throw some up in there. But thank you and have a good July.